disturbing reminder that for a black American, equality is a facade. It's a futile attempt and futile pursuit to become an equal in this country. And look, there are times where you're desensitized from that. There are times where you don't want to acknowledge that reality. There are times when you let your money, your power, your fame, if you're LeBron James, actually blind you and actually make you think there's a better opportunity and there's a level playing field in existence. But the reality is there will always be some who think of you with such malice and such hate. And what's most disturbing is that that's the reality for a lot of kids in America that are growing up as black males and females. Think about it. I'm from Compton, California, and let's talk about the aspirations and the ambitions to escape your environment, to escape your circumstances. It's always this pursuit. And we all know that in the pursuit of happiness, that's something I control. But in the pursuit of equality, that's a team game. I need assistance. I need teammates to think of me in those terms, in those respects. And I thought about it the same way. I used my education and I used my athletics to get me to a better place. And think about that. I was a football player who chose to go to an Ivy League school, in part because I wanted to get to a place where you couldn't use even my education against me. Not just another football player, not just another guy who escaped because of his physical tools.
A dumb jock.
And dumb jock. And then to get to that place and have these disturbing reminders that that's never going to be your reality. It's the same reason why Colin Kaepernick in this Bay Area took a knee. It's the same reason he took a knee to really highlight for the common black American that if LeBron James is going to face this kind of disgust, this kind of attempt, what do you think the normal
That's exactly what
black
I thought.
American is feeling right now? And I think that if you parallel these two experiences, you will see that what LeBron James is speaking of is something that he can't escape, I can escape, and I don't think any black American escapes, which is we're going to one day get to a place where we're thought of as equals.
So I want to talk about this both from the act that took place and from the symbolic issue that it somehow represents. First of all, on this specific act of LeBron's home in Los Angeles, there's an investigation going on. We don't know who did this. Could be a teenager, could be all of our perfect vision of what a racist in America looks like in 2017. But it doesn't matter. Regardless of who it is, that person is someone most certainly with tiny, tiny sense of self, tiny manhood. Their self-esteem, their sense of self-worth, who they think they are is weak and small. And this is a moment, I guess, where they can exact some sort of revenge or elevation of themselves about which they are sorely mistaken. Now, what does it represent? You know, I have to be honest about who I am in this world. I'm a white man. Do I think America has come far in race? Absolutely. Do I think equality is a facade? I do not. Do I think there are individuals who constantly, on an everyday basis, give people I respect, like yourself, who I just met, but others like Antoine Lewis and Dave Roberts and Stephen A. Smith, evidence on a day-to-day basis that it is far from equal. We are far from there. Yes, I know that happens. I believe you. I haven't experienced it myself. I can only listen to the words of individuals that I respect and hear you, that that's something that happens. And I believe you that that happens. But it is not futile, Marcellus. Equality is not a futile exercise. It's not a futile pursuit. What it takes is individuals. This is an individual. This is a weak individual. And what he did is he robbed LeBron James of his individuality, of his manhood, of his sense of respect as a person, a singular man, regardless of skin color. That's what he did. He robbed that individuality. And my answer to this, to the best of my abilities, is individuality is what will get us through. Treat each other as individuals, focus on this person as an individual, and strive for better as individuals.
First of all, I so often in these situations, I wind up in these situations. In situations I find throughout life, I wind up quoting Chris Rock. You know, when he said, when people talk about how far black people have come, no, it's white people who have come a long way in terms of the treatment of black people, but they ain't there yet. And these kind of discussions, frankly, frequently break in our political spectrum, left and right. And the right will often talk about individual responsibility, and the left will often talk about institutional causes and blame. And it is interesting that these institutional, the institution of slavery originally created the situation that we're now discussing. So the individuals taking responsibility is important, but this is remains an institutional problem that needs to be addressed not only on an individual level, but on an institutional level. But I want to talk about this as it relates to LeBron James and this anonymous coward who did this. How else do you describe this anonymous coward? But to call him by the only name we know. We don't know his name or her name. Think about LeBron James for a second. The reveal of who he is. The most scrutinized athlete since high school in the history of this country. Like, since high school, we all knew who he was. Who has somehow lived up or maybe even surpassed all the expectations. Who's done it in a social media era without one misstep. In terms of his athletic greatness and achievement, unbelievable. But also in terms of the kind of person he is, as a leader of teammates, who's brought along people with him. And if they've proven their worth, he's kept them and they've risen. Who has done with, not only shown with his money, but with his time, efforts to make the world a better place in his community and outside. That's who LeBron James is, a man of character, of principle, who doesn't shy away from difficult social issues. That's who he is. That's who he's revealed himself to be. And who has the anonymous coward revealed themselves as? An anonymous coward.